Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes, brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York, in southwest Suffolk County on Long Island, serving the entire New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area. And they are Long Island's largest rock salt provider. So every day we're getting one day closer to that first snow and ice event. So if you need it to make sure that your home is cleaned up, safe, and free of ice and snow, you can head over to Omni 631-756-1125 for the best prices not only in town but anywhere. OmniTrueValue.com is the website. It's another gloom and doom type of day, but there are exceptions to all of this. You can see on the wide satellite view the clouds are kind of stuck along the East Coast. I'll show you the exceptions in a moment. In the meantime, we've got a weather system, a really small weather system that's out in the Atlantic that the Hurricane Center was mentioning and now has reduced the probability of it developing into a subtropical storm. And we've got a disturbance that's taking shape east of the Bahamas that might become a tropical depression or a tropical storm late in the week or over this coming weekend. And here's the close-up view of the satellite. Long Island is actually broken out into some sunshine here. As there's drier air at the higher levels of the atmosphere, and sometimes this happens when you have a low cloud deck like this, especially this time of year where the sun isn't that strong, where you break out into some sun. But the overcast is still fairly thick everywhere else in southern and southeastern New England, and also back through New Jersey and eastern and central parts of central Pennsylvania down into Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, and even into North Carolina. Meanwhile, just back to the idea of that small system here. Look how tiny it is. There's a low-level swirl that is just sitting out there, but there's hardly any thunderstorm activity. That thing must be no more than about 75 miles wide diameter-wise. And you can see further south the clouds and some showers and thunderstorms with that disturbance that's off the Atlantic coast. Midday radars picking up on showers and thunderstorms and what will probably be some severe weather later today from the Missouri-Illinois border, running down through western Tennessee, central Mississippi, and down into southeastern Louisiana. There's also a little lead band of showers that's running out ahead, but not much of this is reaching the ground in eastern Alabama and on up into eastern Tennessee. And of course, if you look at the radars up and down the East Coast, nothing is being picked up. There may be some spotty light rain or drizzle. One of the things we should point out, though, for tonight, there will probably be a dense fog around in much of the area. The Storm Prediction Center showing a slight risk of severe weather today in eastern Mississippi, much of Georgia. Marginal risk extends further to the east and north up into Kentucky, southern Illinois, and southern Indiana, and down along the immediate Gulf Coast. And some of that's tornado risk, by the way, a 5% tornado risk in eastern Mississippi and for much of the state of Alabama. The rainfall forecast for the next 7 days, about a half an inch of liquid between now and next Tuesday. And for much of southern New England down through New Jersey, let's say a quarter to a half an inch, I think is probably a better assessment here. And also in and around the Great Lakes, down through the lower Mississippi Valley to the Gulf Coast, and some heavy rains on up into the Pacific Northwest. So what we're dealing with here is we still have a bit of an onshore flow thanks to higher pressure that is out east of Nova Scotia. So we're getting winds off the ocean. It's not a raw wind where temperatures are in the 40s. It's actually very humid. So those places where the sun breaks through, it really does feel kind of muggy. Then we've got this cold front and low pressure there near St. Louis. That's going to be tracking to the northeast up into southeastern Canada. Cooler, drier air, or in some cases colder, drier air coming down into the northern plains and back up into the northern Rockies where they just finished off their season's first snowstorm. So rolling through, we're just going to kind of hang around with this through tomorrow. There might be some showers that'll pivot back from the east. You can see measurable rain there overnight into tomorrow morning, backing into southern New England, Long Island to about New York City and the Hudson Valley. And then, of course, the cold front comes through. This is later in the day tomorrow, by the way. It's overnight into tomorrow morning. And then later in the day tomorrow, we get a cold front that moves on through. And then a nice dry high builds in for Thursday, Friday. I think it'll hold on at least through Saturday. Even though the flow is onshore, the high is sitting in Massachusetts. So I think there'll be enough dry air that we should have a fair amount of sunshine on Saturday. And I'm thinking maybe even for Sunday we'll have a good weekend, even though while that's happening, we've got this low off the southeast coast that's just meandering around. Again, that could become a tropical depression or a tropical storm, depending on how tight it gets. Another system is moving across the south over the weekend, and that'll be maybe spreading some showers into the southeast later Sunday and eventually up the mid-Atlantic states come late Monday night into Tuesday. So perhaps we may get into some rain for Halloween, and it looks like the models want to hang that low out off the East Coast for a while, so we'll see if we go back into a gloom and doom pattern if that winds up verifying. Weather in 5 is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. Remember, Long Island's largest rock salt provider, and they'll provide you if you're anywhere in the tri-state area. 631-756-1125 for the best prices anywhere. OmniTrueValue.com is the website. So enjoy the rest of your day, in spite of the fact that we do have a lot of clouds around, except for those areas on Long Island that seem to have decided it's okay to break out into some sunshine. The Joe and Joe Weather Show tonight at 7:35 Eastern Time, and so we'll see you then.